Let's begin this morning with the breaking news at the nation's busiest airports and with those airlines telling their customers that are scrambling as government-ordered flight reductions kick in. FlightAware says nearly 1,000 flights have already been canceled this morning. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy joined us on CBS Mornings and says the FAA had no choice but to make these cuts. Listen.
We saw controllers working 6 days a week, 10-hour days. That pressure on the controllers were giving us numbers that were not troubling, but were concerning. And so my job is to be preemptive, to take preemptive action based on the data, which is what we've done. We'll share the data later with the airlines, with the Congress. But right now, it's about making the right decisions at the right time to keep people safe. We have to take unprecedented action is because we are in an unprecedented situation with a shutdown.
All right, for more on this, let's go to one of the airports already seeing those cancellations. CBS News correspondent Meg Oliver is standing by at Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey. So, Meg, what are you seeing? How are things looking down there? And how does what you're seeing at Newark compare to what folks are seeing across the country?
Great to be with you, Vlad. So far, pretty smooth sailing, I would say, here at Newark. Take a look behind me. We're in the busiest terminal, Terminal C. Barely any lines. It's only taken about 2 minutes to get through security. But remember, this all just started with the 3% reduction in flights at 6 a.m. this morning. So far, less than 50 flights have been canceled here. JFK and LaGuardia are faring about the same. We do know, and I want to put this into context for you just a little bit, just roughly over 25,000 flights are scheduled to depart across the country. Out of those flights, 748 will be cut today. Many of the airlines are saying that this is going to impact regional flights much more than those bigger hubs. I talked with one woman who is flying to South Bend, Indiana this morning to see the Navy Notre Dame game with her son last night. She wasn't taking any chances. She switched her flight to Chicago and rented a car. A lot of people are anxious if they have flights this weekend. We've been talking to people across the country. Let's hear what they had to say.
I was invited back to Alabama for Thanksgiving, but I decided, I'm not going to take my chances.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell my job that I'm going to be late, which is going to impact me in so many other ways. But yeah.
So you're just fingers crossed that everything.
Yes, I'm praying that they get this together because this is horrible.
It crossed my mind, like, should I really go? It's for fun, but I'm going to go and chance it and be at work on Tuesday.
So what can you do if you do have arrangements to fly this weekend? Start contacting your airlines today. See if you can rebook, get on a different flight. They are working with people, waiving fares. A lot of people, though, they're just opting to drive altogether. Hertz told us they have seen a 20% increase in one-way rentals this weekend. Vlad, everybody knows somebody traveling in the next few weeks. My mom, Nana, she's in California. She's supposed to be coming back here on Sunday. I'm a little concerned. She has to get through a regional flight first before she hits LAX. So fingers crossed for everybody trying to venture out this weekend.
Oh, no, Nana. Hopefully she makes it, Meg.
I know.
Yeah, let her know we're rooting for her. Exactly, fingers crossed. All right, Meg Oliver from Newark Airport this morning for us. Meg, thank you. Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to fully fund federal food assistance and restore benefits for 42 million Americans. The judge criticized the administration for ignoring his order last week to quickly restart payments for SNAP. CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro joins us now for more. Aaron, tell us about this latest ruling and how the administration is reacting.
Yeah, Vlad, the judge here essentially laid into the Trump administration saying they weren't dispersing SNAP benefits fast enough, saying that they're withholding them for, quote, political reasons, referencing the president's post earlier this week threatening to withhold SNAP benefits if Senate Democrats don't reopen the government. Remember, the administration said earlier this week that they would restore about 65% of benefits for the month, but has repeatedly said due to logistical and technical hurdles that it will take time for people to actually get and use these benefits. The judge here in Rhode Island said that that's not a good excuse, said the Trump administration should tap into contingency funds. The Justice Department has appealed this ruling, called for an emergency stay, signaling that they're fighting this legally and is doing everything they can to not pay out the full benefits by the end of today. Vice President Vance was also asked about this last night. Take a listen to his remarks here.
It's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown. which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people. But in the midst of a shutdown, we can't have a federal court telling the president how he has to triage the situation.
A spokesperson for the Department of Agriculture blamed Senate Democrats for continuing the shutdown and compromising, quote, not only SNAP, but farm programs and food inspection. The White House referred reporters to the Office of Management and Budget, but they have not yet responded for comment. But President Trump, as there are more flashpoints from the election to this, giving pressure to Republicans to end the government shutdown, posted on Truth Social this morning in a message, presumably to Senate Republicans, quote, just say no, terminate the filibuster.
Wow. All right. Aaron Navarro reporting from the White House this morning. Aaron, thank you.
Take care.
Meanwhile, Senate Republicans are planning a different approach to end the government shutdown today as we enter day 38. The GOP will reportedly try to vote on advancing the House-passed continuing resolution with the goal of amending it. For more on this, let's bring in CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small. Taurean, tell us about this new approach.
Well, new, I think, is the thing that we should put an asterisk by. So it's essentially the same continuing resolution. They're looking to amend the deadline of it, so change it past that November 21st deadline, and also add about 3 appropriations bill that would fully fund the government next year. The difference, though, is this would come with the promise that Leader Thune would then push through a standalone bill that would extend those health care subsidies that Democrats have been fighting for. Whether or not Democrats will be on board with this is what Republicans are hoping for. They're looking to pair off some of those moderate Democrat votes with this, saying that we're acting in good faith to get your priority to move forward. However, we still want to give the promise that we made to the president a chance by pushing through what they're calling a clean continuing resolution that was passed out of the House some time ago.
So House Speaker Mike Johnson says he won't commit to a vote on health care subsidies. So how will that impact those promises laid out in this new GOP plan?
Yeah, Democrats are looking at that and saying this is the reason why we haven't been cooperative. They've been saying for a while now, Vlad, that this is the best leverage they have, and they just can't trust not just Speaker Johnson, but also President Donald Trump will keep their promise to go forward with any type of expansion of health care subsidies. And that's only one of quite a few demands that Democrats are looking to include in this conversation. They also want to ensure that the president could have guardrails when it comes to appropriations that were previously allocated. They want to ensure that the president won't tap into pocket rescissions that we've seen before to pull back or claw back at previously appropriated spending like we've seen before. They also want to halt any more reduction in forces. They want to ensure that federal workers aren't fired after the government is reopened. Again, that's a big point of contention for the parties here in the Senate. So we'll see if Democrats will play ball with Republicans when this comes to the floor for a vote, but it's unlikely that Democrats will move, considering the fact that Speaker Johnson already telegraphed where his chamber will go.
So let me ask you about this. Republican New York Representative Elise Stefanik has announced that she plans to run for governor. What are the implications here in New York State?
Well, yeah, Vlad. Excuse me. Yes, Vlad. So when it comes to that, this is something that her announcement came with the appeal to those same voters who voted for Mandami, essentially, saying that affordability is a huge crisis, not just in the city of New York, but also in the state, which is why she's making this bid. And she's targeting current incumbent Kathy Hochul by saying she hasn't done enough to address this. Hochul, however, in response to this, is saying that, listen, she has made it clear since her time in Congress that her sole priority is appeasing President Trump. Trump obviously is not quite favorable in New York, lost the presidential election there, but she's still pushing ahead, saying that she is just not qualified to lead the state, and also pointing out the fact that, again, Republicans haven't led the state since the 90s. So this would be a significant deviation. She is one of the most notable Republican New Yorkers that the party has. So it'll be interesting to see where this race goes. But for now, Hochul has been enjoying a significant lead over Elise Stefanik before she even entered this race, Vlad.
All right, Taurean Small breaking it down for us on the Hill. Thank you, Taurean.